What is going on, everybody? Today we are taking a look at the Nexus 9 and seeing how it holds up in 2018. Now this tablet actually came out in 2014, so it's almost 4 years old this year, and it honestly doesn't look too bad. And looking around the body, I can tell you right now that it isn't the most premium feeling device, and it really wasn't supposed to be. It pretty much feels like the Nexus 7 and Nexus 5, but in tablet form. Now this tablet was actually made by HTC, and that isn't really important because, this doesn't really feel like an HTC device. We're so used to HTC making really high quality, like aluminum products, and they made this, and I was so confused. Because looking at the front, I used to be so envious and I used to like it, but looking at it now, it just looks super outdated. The bezels on the top and bottom are just too much, especially the bottom bezel makes absolutely no sense. They were really trying to make it look like an iPad, but there's no home button or anything. There are front-facing speakers, so that's good, but there's really no reason that these bezels are as big as they are, because within like 2 years, this device already felt like a 9-year-old device. Now the front has an 8.9 inch screen. It's 1536 by 2048. It's not AMOLED or anything. It's actually IPS LCD. It's not even the sharpest screen. It has 281 pixels per inch. But for the job, it gets it done. It's not really that bad of a tablet in terms of looks, but don't expect anything too premium from this. Now turning it on, we actually have Android 7.1.1, but it actually started off getting Android 5.0, which is pretty good. It got a couple years of support, and this thing does have a pretty active rooting and ROM community since it is a Nexus device. So you are able to root it in ROM if you're in the mood to, but if you don't want to, you can just always keep it stock. Now performance and everything honestly is not that bad at all. It has a NVIDIA Tegra K1 chip. It has a dual core processor clocked at 2.3 gigahertz. It also has 2 gigabytes of RAM. Honestly, I wish there was like 3 gigs, but the 2 gigs that it has isn't that bad at all. It'll be able to handle all the gaming and performance and multitasking and everything. One thing that I did notice though when I was gaming, especially when I was playing Real Racing 3, the top by the camera, like behind the camera, like when you're holding it, that part gets pretty hot. So if you plan on gaming like for hours and hours on end, a tablet like this will get hot, especially compared to like a NVIDIA K1 that I just reviewed. The Nexus 9 got really hot really fast. So that is something to keep in mind when you're getting this tablet. Now switching to the cameras, it has an 8 megapixel camera on the back and a 1.6 megapixel camera on the front. Now I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It's not that good. I'd give it like a 4.5 out of 10. It's okay. It'll get the job done if you're in a pinch, but don't expect to be taking DSLR type photos on this thing. And if you're getting this tablet, you're probably not even getting it for the camera, so we're just going to leave it at that. Now one good thing about this tablet is that it does have pretty decent battery life. So it has a 6700 milliamp hour battery. It's good. The standby time is pretty good on this thing. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty much comparable to like an iPad. You can go several days without charging it and it'll be perfectly fine. But one thing is, while you're using it, you will notice the battery dying pretty quickly. It isn't the end of the world, but you will probably notice how fast it's going down like in a minute, especially when you compare it to something like a Nexus 10 that came out a few years ago and I already reviewed. The battery life on that thing was amazing. And now when they came out with the Nexus 9, it was so much smaller and it just kind of felt like a step backwards from it. I wish they could fit like an 8,000 or 9,000 milliamp hour battery in here, but I guess a 6,700 milliamp hour battery isn't that bad either. Now some other quick things to note, this tablet does not have a fingerprint sensor, so especially when we look to the future of tablets, they're all pretty much coming with one or some face unlock features with Face ID coming to the iPads apparently. This tablet does not have it. Now like I said before, it does have front facing speakers, so that's pretty good. It also has a headphone jack up top. The camera does protrude a little bit, which is kind of annoying, and the buttons are super, it does not feel like these things are secure at all. It feels very, very cheap when I'm clicking them. And for a tablet that came out that was pretty expensive at the time, I'm surprised this thing feels as cheap as it does. So is the Nexus 9 worth it in 2018? I will say if you can get one of these for less than $100, probably around like 70 or 80, then it's pretty much a good deal. But I still think, putting iOS and everything aside, I do think the iPads are a little bit better than the Nexus tablets. Especially this one. This one wasn't too premium feeling. I feel like the Nexus 7 was an amazing tablet, but for them to release a Nexus 9 and, doesn't feel as premium and doesn't feel as fast and as, revolutionary as the Nexus 7, I'm really not too sure what they were going on here. But yeah, I would say it's kind of worth it if you're like in a pinch of trying to find a tablet or if you found one for a good price. But as a whole, I wouldn't really recommend it. I would definitely recommend an iPad Air 2 over this. It's a little bit more expensive, but you're definitely going to get way more out of a tablet than this one. And that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it at. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. We're still doing the iPhone 6s and iPhone SE giveaway, and in order to enter, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All those links are down in the description, so it'll mean so much if you guys could click those. There's a video link in the description as well of a video I did explaining more about the giveaway, so you can click that. That's also in the description. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.